Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful spring day today and I am feeling pretty happy and feeling pretty light. Last couple of days have been kind of gray around here, so was having a hard time finding some inspiration to come on and shoot a video. But today's a totally different story because I am feeling spectacular. And the reason I'm feeling spectacular is because it dawned on me that I am blessed enough to have removed all of these toxic people from my life. They're gone. They are out of my life. I have cut these people right out. These toxic demons, narcissists, flying monkeys, anybody that just doesn't care about me or have my best interests in mind or respect me, I cut them out. And I have to tell you, and I'm going to get up real close, I couldn't possibly be doing any better. And so I really wish this for you. Because chances are, if you're watching this video, you're not in the position that I'm in. You're still maybe struggling with these people in your life and not really sure what to do, or you're working your way through it. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about these toxic individuals. So I heard something today that was pretty profound, and it really inspired this video today. And so let's start by, I want to talk a little bit about myself and some of what I've been through. So I went through a pretty dark period. And if you are under the attack of these people, you may find yourself going through a really dark period as well, where everybody's just turning against you. You've been, slandered into such a way that everybody is believing a story or stories about you that isn't true. And, you become sort of an enemy to a group. And I went through this with basically most of my family. Had, suspected that some of this was happening in the workplace with key people. So financially, I was getting just ruined and destroyed. I was just in a really, really, really dark place. And, I would get on my knees and just sort of ask, why is this happening to me? Because I'm a good person and I'm following the call. Spirit basically woke me up and they called me to step into my purpose. They called me to step into being the person I'm supposed to be. And in order to ultimately get there, you have a lot of things you have to face and a lot of healing that has to go on. But you've called me into this, and now my life has never been worse. I'm being attacked, and I would get on my knees and just ask, why is this happening to me? Because I'm a good person. Well, it's a long process of healing, and it's a very emotional process. You have to go through all the stages of grief, and I'm not going to lie. Most people don't have the strength or the courage to do it. It's too easy for them to just shut it out, stay locked into the 3D life, stay connected to the matrix, and just keep doing all the same things they always do, and take in all the same information they always do, and not ever really do anything to self-improve, because that's the easy way. That's the easy way. But if you realize, because you're chosen, you realize because maybe you have an anointing, you woke up for a reason. Not everybody does. But if you did, it's because you have been given a gift of intuition, a gift of knowing, a gift of discernment, just a gift of connection in whatever way that means to you, with the divine, spirit guides, your ancestors, just there's so many other, we'll just call them entities, that are on the other side of the veil that you become aware of. Well, you don't just become aware of them for no reason so you can, just sit in your recliner every night and keep watching the same stuff and not grow as a person. No. Your whole world changes, and it changes because they called you. They said, okay, now it's time for you to wake up. They hit the alarm, and, it wakes you up. And so you ask yourself, why did you put me through this so that I can now suffer? And then I heard something today that was so profound that it gave me all the inspiration to want to do this video. And it's the idea that people who are awake, chosen, anointed, in God's favor, you call it whatever you want. I don't care what you call it. They are here to battle the demons. You're here to help the people who are on the far end of the spectrum. This is where everybody is, and over here is God. And you're somewhere on this side of the spectrum, but the people who are on this side of the spectrum, okay? These are the lower vibrational people. These are the people who may be hurting you. They're unconscious. They are very susceptible to demonic energy attachments, okay? Because this is the way that the dark ends up working. They work through these lower vibrational people to try to block your calling. So these are going to be, obviously, these are going to be your narcissists. But your flying monkeys are going to be somewhere on this side of the spectrum as well, okay? People who, go along to get along and, don't have courage and can't think for themselves. They don't have any discernment. They just take what's told to them and they believe it, and then they just jump on board because, well, if this is what everybody else is doing and this is how everybody else feels, well, then I don't want to buck the system because, man, maybe they'll turn on me too. And, cowards, right? That's what they are. So the dark works through all of these people to try to block you from doing, what you've come here to do. So, but what God does is he says, I'm going to use the chosen. I'm just going to call you guys the chosen because this is easier, okay? To battle these demons, because who's stronger than you to do it? Who's he going to ask to do it? He can't ask the flying monkeys to do it because they're weak and they don't have any courage. You can't ask anybody on this side of the spectrum because their vibration is too low. You know, you spent your whole life probably, like me, battling these people before I was even awake. I didn't even know. I just lived a life of being constantly under energetic attack, right? And then, so what happens is God builds your stamina over the course of your life, right? He's getting you tough. He's getting you tough. He's getting you tough. And then he says, wake up. So now the difference is you still get attacked. You're just more aware and conscious, and this whole other world opens up for you, right? And now what I've come to realize is that he's been using me and he's using you, you know, your whole life to battle these people, because when you do things like cut out a narcissist from your life and don't look back. Well, look, they don't take it, they don't just go away, right? They're gonna, you know, up their ante, and they're gonna keep coming at you, and they keep their flying monkeys on the hook. But the fact is when your life keeps getting better because you said, I am no longer going to allow myself to be connected to the low vibrations, I'm all about the high vibrations. What happens is there becomes a separation, and these people get left, you know, not understanding what's going on here. They start to have to face their karma now. Your life starts to get better. And then you know what actually ends up happening? You become the demon slayer. Because that's how I feel. I'm so in such a good mood today because I am the demon slayer. None of these people beat me. I'm doing God's work. I'm sending God's message. I'm trying to help you all understand that if you can separate yourself from the low vibrations and realize God's actually using you as a vehicle or as a tool for these people to face karma. They have to look. I know that my enemies are going to watch this video at some point. Today is like, I don't know, April 21st or 22nd, 2026. I'm shooting this video. Nobody knows I'm doing this, right? But down the road, someday, somebody's going to see this video, and they're going to start to tell somebody who's going to tell two friends, and so on and so on. And it's going to get back to my enemies, and they're going to see this video. And guess what? You lose. Because I'm living my best life, and you're facing your karma. And what I now fully understand is that God is using me as a tool to help you someday see the error of your ways and maybe get some courage to look in the mirror deep and to do some of the healing work that you need to do instead of blaming other people. You're in a victim mentality and you blame other people for whatever your situation is. But I'm being used as a tool, and it was like, wow, it was like this epiphany today that that's what's happening. That's why good people have to go through some of these trials and tribulations, because he's been working on us our whole life like a muscle. You know, like when you do curls, right? You know, you first go to the gym and your muscles are small and weak. You know, you don't just suddenly look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What you do is you have to slowly work on building those muscles. You work on those muscles to build your strength. That's what happens to us. We get attacked at such an early age and we build up our strength. We build up our strength. We build up our strength. And when you get strong enough, they start to really use you to help these demons eventually see the light or see the error of their ways. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today, that you might be going through a lot of pain and maybe you haven't gotten to the point that I've gotten to where I've been able to just tell these people, go pound sand. I'm going to go live my best life, and I'm focused on a higher vibration, and I want nothing to do with your anger, your guilt, your shame, your victim mentality. That's your baggage, and I want nothing to do with it. And you might still be working through some of that process, but what God's really doing is he's got you in the gym. He's got you in the gym. You're bench pressing. That's what he's got you doing to build up your strength so that you can come into an understanding that what you really are is you're a demon slayer. You know, you're here to really be the light in a dark world. People like us, we have been around dark energies our whole life. And the fact is we're the light to illuminate the room. And what happens to something that's been in a dark room and the light turns on, people go, they hide their eyes, they can't see it, they can't handle it, and they crawl into a corner, right? You can probably visualize what I'm talking about, because they can't handle your light. And so what do? They fight against you, and you become a target. But the whole purpose is that you're the light for a reason, to illuminate it. And God's been working on you and your strength for your whole life. So instead of sitting back and saying to yourself like I did, why me? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. That's the reason it's happening to you. Because God is saying, you're my child, and I have built you, and I have trained you in the gym, and you're strong now. And so we're gonna battle these demons together, because ultimately the whole point is that everybody on this side of the spectrum comes to this side of the spectrum. It's just that the way it works doesn't always make sense, and we're never gonna fully understand it. But be proud of your strength. Be proud of everything that you've had to go through and that you survived it. Most people couldn't do it. Most people don't have that kind of strength. But I'm proud of you. Slay those demons. Have a great day. Catch you later.